Welcome to Holy Scripture Television. My name is Johan Oldenkamp and I am the presenter of Holy Scripture TV. In this second episode, we will talk about Babylon. If you have not seen the first episode, which was on Israel, then I strongly advise you to pause this video and first watch that first episode, because otherwise you will not be able to fully understand what I am about to reveal in the second episode of Holy Scripture TV. Before I start, I have a warning. And that warning is, make sure that you really want to know the truth, because this truth will shake your world up very radically. And if you are not ready for that, then you probably will not want to watch this video. So make sure you want to take the red pill and not the blue one, as a reference to the film The Matrix. I'll switch off my camera now. It's no longer necessary. And I also have a request, because I think this video that you're about to see is not worthless. It's worth something, but it's up to you what it is worth. But I want you to be very honest and to tell yourself at the end of this video what was worth to you watching it. And then I ask you to give the half of that amount that is the worth of this video for you, that amount to me. And you can find my bank account or my PayPal account on my website, pateo.nl. And the other half of that money I ask you to give to somebody in your environment, close to you, that can really use that money good. So half of it, please give it to me, and the other half, give it to somebody who really needs it, close to you. I thank you in advance for that. So let's have a start. Babylon, because that's the subject of this episode. The first time that name is mentioned in the Old Scriptures, in the Holy Scriptures, that is in Genesis, the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 10, because there we see the name, Babylon. It took me about a week to correctly translate all the text that I will present in this video, because it's very hard work. For instance, the King James version of these ancient scriptures is very wrong in many occasions, and others too. So I had to go back to the ancient Greek version. That was the version used by the apostles who wrote the books of the New Testament. But I didn't learn Greek at school, so I have to do it now all by my own understanding, and that can be very time consuming. Because, as I said, many versions there are completely wrong. And this is the literal translation of what is written there. And I didn't translate the names, because I think that creates confusion too. And Cus begot Nebrot. He began to be a giant. So it's about giants here, upon the earth. He was a giant hunter. So he was hunting before the Lord God. The question is, who is this Lord? And therefore they say, as Nebrut, the giant hunter before the Lord. So it was a saying, kind of an ancient way of expressing, referring to something. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babylon and Orech and Arkad and Calneh in the land of Shinar. We know these places now, because we know that Orech is a reference to Uruk, and Arkad is Akkad, and Calneh is probably Kalnu, but mostly it's translated as Calneh, in the land of the Shinar, that means summer. And some say this Nebrot guy, who is named mostly Nimrod, is actually the second king of Uruk, named Enmerkar. I'm not certain if that is true. And the town of Calneh is also named Calanes in the book Isaiah, and Chana in the book of Ezekiel. And Ezekiel, by the way, means literally El will strengthen, because the El at the end, that's the El that will strengthen. And we saw in the previous episode what El means. It means God. So why are these 4 cities named here? Uruk, Akkad, Calneh, and Babylon. Because those were the main cities, the capitals of empires. It started with the Uruk dynasty, then Uruk was the capital. Then it became the Akkadian Empire. Yeah, that's the empire that came here. Secondly, by Sargon. Yeah, Akkad became then the capital. Then later we had the Assyrian Empire and probably Calneh or Kalnu or whatever, Kalhu. Yeah, that city here was then the capital, and then much later Babylon became the capital. And that was the last capital of this region, so that's why it's mentioned, because directly after the people were allowed to leave Babylon and go home to their own place of origin, then the people in Samaria, they wrote down these ancient stories. So that's why Babylon is a reference to them. And this land was known as Mesopotamia in Greek, and that means the land between rivers, between the 2 rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris. Yeah, that's the Sinar or the Shinar or Sumer. And the name Babylon is very old because it goes back to ancient Sumeria. Here you see it in cuneiform. And it is pronounced as Ka Dingerra and then Ki, and literally means gate god of city. So it's a city that was the gate of God. And the question, of course, is which god is this? Because later in Akkadian it became Bab Ilu, literally meaning gate of Ilu. But Ilu, is Ilu the same as El? That's the main question. Yeah, Babylon, Babylon, that's the Greek version. It means literally gate of God. And also on the $1 USA bill we find in God we trust. But the main question is, which God is this? And is the El God the same as Ilu? The translation of Babylon as Babel, Babel, that's a very wrong one. Yeah, because I don't think we can conclude that the Ilu God is the same as the El God. Anyway, there's much confusion, and the people who want to dominate this world, they also have a God. That's why they write it down here. But that's not my God. That's not the one true God, in my opinion. So make sure that you know what is meant when the word God is used. Yeah, in here, for instance, people say this is the Tower of Babylon story. But the word Babylon or Babel, the Tower of Babel, is never there. Yeah, the Tower of Babel is not in the Bible. It's nonsense. Because the name that we find there in the original version is not Babel or Babylon. It is the Greek word for confusion. This story is about the confusion that is created when the tongues were mixed or mingled somehow. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. Yeah, they found a place where it was flat in the land of Sumer. And they dwelt there, they lived there. And they said to one another, come, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime they had for mortar. What is said here very cleverly is that's not a physical tower, it's a metaphysical one. And that's why they didn't use stone and mortar, but they used instead brick and slime. That means something that is made by man. So these are concepts, intellectual concepts by man in order to create a bridge or let's say a tower, a stairway all the way up to heaven that may reach unto heaven. That's what it says here. Come, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. Yeah, I've explained already in my previous videos that the house built on rock, that is the house of somebody who understands, but a whole city of houses built on rock, that's of course a school of people. And that school of people, kind of mystery school or mother mystery school, yeah, which I'm actually now creating with Holy Science, that wants to have a tower in the middle. That means a stairway bringing you all the way up to the seventh heaven of God. And let us make a name. That's why I gave a name to it, and now name it Holy Science. Lest we be scattered abroad the face of the whole earth. Yeah, because otherwise we cannot work together. And let the Lord come down to see the city the Lord came down to see the city and the tower. Which Lord is this? Which the children of men build it. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have one language, and this is they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them. Indeed, if you fully understand holy science, nothing will be restrained from you, which they have imagined to do. Come, let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. So they stopped building it. Therefore is the name of it called confusion. That's the correct translation. Confusion is there. The land of confusion. Because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. So that's the true story here. It's about not having understanding. Not having a school that teaches you how to reach the seventh heaven of God. But fortunately for you, there is again holy science. What I will do in this video is I'll explain in full detail 5 chapters from those holy scriptures. Holy scripture. Isaiah chapter 47, Jeremiah chapter 51, and 3 chapters from the Revelations of John, the chapters 13, 17, and 18. And make sure that when somebody is talking to you about words in the ancient scriptures, the holy scripture, that they take full stories. Because if you do not do that, if you take verses and without the complete whole chapter, then you take them out of context. And by doing so, you can impress people and you can actually prove anything you want. So that's not a valid method. The only valid method is to use complete stories or chapters or parts of chapters, but never verses. Or even parts of verses. That's not a good way of using this. So that's why I'll explain these 5 chapters, and if you don't have time to listen to them all, then just stop when your time is up or your energy is up and continue later. But we have to explain them all 5 in full detail. But first, let me tell you what Babylon is, because that will help me also to explain it in more detail. Otherwise, you have to wait until the end, and that's not really good. And that's where I take now this part, but I'll come back to it in full detail later on. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures. Is Babylon, do the people here, do they have many waters? No, they only have one water. That's the Euphrates, this river. So that's not many waters. So it's not the historical Babylon we talk about here. It's the Babylon of now, the Babylon of the end times. That's the Babylon. And that Babylon is abundant in treasures because it's a very wealthy country, extremely wealthy, because of trickery. I'll explain that too. Black magic, but it succeeded because it's now one of the richest countries on this planet. And that's the United States of America. Babylon, as mentioned in those ancient scriptures, is nowadays USA. And the USA is the greatest nation on earth, at least according to many people who live there. It's not true, of course, but that's what they claim. The home of the brave. Well, if you live there, then this video will really upset you. This is what we see in Jeremiah 51, verse 41. The boast of all the earth, and that's true. The people in the USA are extremely boastful. They think they are the best, and they want to tell that to everyone who wants to listen, over and over and over again. For thy merchants were the lords of the lords of the earth, and that's true, because of the financial game, so to say, the financial system, the fraudulent way of creating money out of nothing or out of debt. Because of that, the merchants became very powerful. And they are now the most important companies. Yeah, the most important companies on this planet, they are all related or based in the USA. The power of kingdoms. Yeah, of course, the USA now is the most powerful country on this planet. It can actually do whatever it chooses to do. That's not a good thing, but it's true. Nobody can deny it. There's no country more powerful than the USA. So that's the power of kingdoms mentioned in Isaiah 47, verse 2. Yeah, and this is in the Revelations of John. I'll come back to each of these. Let us first look at chapter 47 of Isaiah. Actually, it's Isaiah in Greek, but yeah, in English we say Isaiah. Verse 1, chapter 47. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Let us first look at Babylon in the ancient days. Yeah, what was there? There was a priesthood, and that priesthood was worshipping Saturn, and Saturn represents the demonic energies of the devil. So it's the devil worshipping priesthood that we talk about here, and that Saturnian priesthood that created the United States of America, and that is later on depicted via the Statue of Liberty. And the virgin daughter mentioned here in Isaiah 47 verse 1 is now depicted as this woman in the harbor of New York City, in the state of New York. And who put it there? They are the Freemasons. And the Freemasons are nothing more than just the workers, so to say, for the Jesuits. They don't know that, but that's the truth. And the Jesuits are nothing else than the Saturnian priesthood in the modern days, because this priesthood has never, ever vanished. They have all been there, but not always open. Nowadays they are in the open again too. So that's what we talk about here. These people, they created the virgin daughter of Babylon. They created the USA. Yeah, and she has to sit on the ground. Yeah, there is no more throne. You can imagine this as a throne. Yeah, she has to come down. The arrogant USA has to come down, and it will come down. O daughter of the Chaldeans, and the Chaldeans, they were immigrants because they lived here too. And the Chaldeans were immigrants. They came from here, from Samaria. And when they arrived there, they created a kind of dark times. Yeah, because they secretly take over the country. And that happened in the USA too. Because we talk about the Zionists. The Zionists secretly took over the USA. And now they rule. Now they run the show. Yeah, for instance, look at the film industry, or look at the news industry, or whatever. Yeah, or the pharmaceutical industry. They all run it. And the military-industrial complex. It's all controlled by the Zionists. So that's the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans in the ancient scriptures, they are nowadays the Zionists. So thou shalt no longer be called tender and delicate. No. Now it's very delicate country, the USA, and tender if you want. Yeah, you have very soft tissues to wipe your ass. But those days will be over soon. Take the millstones and grind meal. What does it mean? Well, this is the lowest and the most laborious service anyone could do. So this is done by the people who are lowest, not by the queens. The USA now thinks she's a queen, but very soon she will be dropped down to the very lowest level. Uncover thy locks, remove your veil, make bare the leg, draw up the skirt, uncover the thigh. Yes, show your true colors, or show your well, I don't want to use the harsh word here, but show us what a whore, what the core activity of the whore is, because that's what it's all about. It's the whore. Pass over the rivers, wading and fording, those were actions of a servant. So the queen will come down from her throne and will be the lowest of the low. because this is about the whore who serves Satan. And that's very true. Thy nakedness shall be exposed. Thy reproach shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man. In the next video, I will explain this in more detail, but for now, we focus on the true nature of Babylon. Thy deliverer is the Lord of armies. His name is Holy Israel. Well, what does it mean? Yeah, the word here in Greek is Sabaoth, and that means hosts or armies. So there will be many armies coming. And the deliverer is the Holy Israel. That means somebody who saw the light, as I explained in the previous episode on Israel. Yeah, holy, I write holy with W-double-L because it's about the whole. Your higher self has become connected with your lower self in your core. Sit thou silence, go in darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. Yeah, the creation of the Chaldeans, because daughter means creation, just like son. For thou shalt no more be called the power of kingdoms. Now it is, when I make this video, the USA is still the power of kingdoms, the most powerful country on the planet. But then, after this all happens, it will no longer be called like that. I was wroth with my people, wrathful, angry. I have polluted my inheritance. All the people who are people of God, they had rough times due to the misbehavior of the USA. Because it's the most violent country for 200 years about now. Continuously in war, continually harassing other countries, terrorizing other countries. It's going on in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Libya, and I mean Syria nowadays, but Libya also, and many other countries. Korea, you can name them, Vietnam. I'm not going to name them all, but it's continuously going on. So this was done, and the Lord is somehow saying sorry for that. Thou didst not shew them no mercy. This is about the USA. The USA never gave mercy to any country that invaded. Never. Not in South America, not in Africa, never ever. And upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. So a huge burden on the people who are elderly. The elderly have a rough time everywhere on this planet because of the USA and the game they play. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever. That's what she thinks, because the people in the USA are extremely arrogant. Of course, the people who are responsible for this, they are the Zionists and the Jesuits and the Freemasons and so on. The very mean people, some call them the Illuminati, doesn't really matter how you name them. But also the inhabitants, the people of the USA, most of them go along with this. And they also behave very arrogantly towards the rest of this planet. They even think that the USA is the world. They have the World Championship, the World World Series for baseball. Well, don't think the world is the USA. There is a huge part of this planet outside the USA. So this arrogance is truly there. And that this arrogant lady thinks that she will be forever. She will rule this world forever. Well, that's not true. So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart. You did not know this by heart. You forgot about it. And it's not pressing on your heart either, people of the USA. Everything you've done, somehow it's not, you don't realize how bad it is. You think you're the best country. Well, you're not. You're the worst. Neither didst remember the latter end of it. So the USA, the people in the USA, and especially the people who are responsible for all this, they don't remember that it will end. But it will end because it's written down. It's written down and it will end very soon. Therefore, hear now this. Thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I and none else beside me, so me, and me, very egoistic. I shall not sit down as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. So there will be no mourning going on. That's what the USA thinks. But you will have all of this. All that you have given out will come back to you. And not only the people in the USA have surrendered to lust, all the countries that are under their control too. Yeah, for instance, whole Europe, at least, especially Western Europe and Asia. It's all, yeah, Americanized, so to say, US 8. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. So all that you think is valuable for the queen, it are the children and the widows and the husband. But for the USA, it's all that you think is valuable, it will be gone in a moment, so very quickly. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. This is about black magic and all the wizardry, yeah, creating money out of thin air and all the other trickeries, yeah, mind control techniques, and the way Hollywood is brainwashing people. It's all wizardry. It's all black magic. And for all of this, the USA will be punished big time. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Yeah, the people who are responsible, they think it will continue. It will never stop. No. Thou hast said, none sees me. Nobody sees what we are doing. Well, I see it, and many like me see it too. So it's not true. But you think you can get away with it. Well, you cannot. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And it's true. It's very much perverted. And not only the USA, but all governments in the so-called civilized world. They were all perverted by this. And thou hast said in thine heart, I and none else beside me. So again, the egoism. And the egoism is a virus that took over almost whole of this planet. And it started in the USA. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. As mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Yeah, I think this is very clear. In a very short moment of time, out of nowhere, like lightning on a cloudless day, it will strike, and it will strike very harshly. Stand now, and I put the word trial there because it makes it more clear. Stand now trial with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. The USA is a very young country. Yeah, something a little bit more than 200 years. But from the very start, because it was founded by the Freemasons, from the very start, sorcery was there. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. So maybe there is a way to come out of this. Maybe. But it's not very likely. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Yeah, the people who want to control the world, they know all this. They are not surprised by this video because they know it's coming. But they want to know when. So they ask astrologers and stargazers and anyone who can help them, yeah, to make a prognosis or whatever. Yeah, to save them from the things that shall come upon them. And that's not going to help them because it's not written in the stars. It will come like a thief in the night. Behold, they shall be a stubble. They shall be a stubble. And what does it mean? Well, that's this. Cut off, dead, gone, waste. It will be a wasteland. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. In the next video, I will explain the technology that will be used to completely destroy the USA. They shall not be a coal to warm at, not a fire to sit before. It will be a very desolate country afterwards. Thus shall they be unto thee, with whom thou hast labored. Even thy merchants from thy youth, they shall wander, every one in his quarter. None shall save thee. Yeah, United Kingdom or France or whatever, all the other countries, China, they will not help you, USA. They will not. They will go to their own countries. Let us look at Jeremiah. This is a long chapter. It has 64 verses, so it will take some time to read it all, but I think it's important to do so. Thus said the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me. I will send a destroying wind. Yeah, later in the next video I'll explain all this, the wind and the fire. And I will send unto Babylon destroyers that shall destroy her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about, so from every direction. Against the bended ones, those who have bended for the devil, those who worship the devil. Let the archer bend his bow, and against them let he lift himself up in his brigandine, the coat of mail. And spare ye not her young men, her soldiers. Destroy ye utterly all her hosts, all her armies. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans. The land of the Chaldeans is also Israel. So Israel will be part of this too. Israel will also fall and will be part of the Third World War. It will start there, but in the end, the USA will be destroyed. That's what it says. And thrust through in her streets. So all those people will fall down. For Israel and Judah, sorry for the S, that's a mistake of mine. Ancient names for previous episodes of these people. I think it's fiction, but it doesn't really matter. It says that in those times, God did not forsaken the people. They were not forsaken by the Lord Almighty God. Whereas the land was filled with iniquity against the Holy One of Israel. So in those days, people were very sinful too, just like they are now. But in those days, God did not forget them, and it will not happen now either. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. Make sure you get out of the USA and deliver everyone his soul. Make sure that your soul is with you and it's not sold to the devil. Be not cut off. Make sure your soul is not cut off in her iniquity. For it is the time of the Lord's retribution. He is rendering to her a recompense. That's going to happen. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. It has been very wealthy for long, causing all the earth to be drunken, because of the lust for more money and more wealth and more luxury. The nations have drunk of her wine, and that's a reference to the way money is created out of thin air, based on debt. Therefore, they were shaken. They were not stable. None of the countries on this planet are stable anymore because they all were dragged into this financial sham, scheme, or whatever, this very fraudulent system. And Babylon is fallen suddenly and is broken to pieces. Lament for her. Take balm for her deadly wound, if by any means she may be healed. I don't think she can be healed, but if it's possible, then do anything you can. We would have healed Babylon, we, the people who have knowledge. But she is not healed, because the people in the USA do not want to listen. Forsake her. Let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven, and is lifted up to the skies. It will be very big. The Lord has brought forth his judgment. Come, and let us declare in Zion the works of the Lord our God. Zion is a mount. Actually it's a hill, but doesn't really matter. They say the Mount Zion. And that mount is a metaphor for anyone who has mounted up to God, who has reached the seventh heaven. So people who are on the mountain means people who are in the knowing and they apply this knowledge. So it's not literally a place, it's a state of consciousness. Just like Jerusalem is explained in the previous episode. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes. I'll also explain this in the next one, who this king is. For his device is against Babylon. Yeah, he has a device, he has a very powerful weapon to destroy it. The USA will be destroyed by that powerful weapon of this king of the Medes, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his people. Lift up a standard on the walls of Babylon. Prepare the quivers, rouse the cords, prepare the weapons. For the Lord has taken the work in hand and will execute what he has spoken against the inhabitants of Babylon. If you live in the USA right now, then you know this is all about you. O thou that dwellest upon the many waters. Water is also reference to the people. So many people are living in the USA, it's true. All kinds of ethnicities, they're all there. Abundant in treasures, very wealthy. Thine end is come, truly into thy bowels, in the very core of you. It will hit you right in the middle. For the Lord has sworn his arm, he has raised his arm and he said, I will fill thee with men as with locusts. So like a swarm of locusts, it will come over you. Yeah, soldiers from other countries will be over you everywhere. And they that come down shall shout against thee. Yeah, those soldiers that come down upon the USA will shout against the people who are still there, who survived that big blast. The Lord has made the earth by his power. He has established the world by his wisdom and has stretched out the heaven by his understanding. This is telling you about the powers of God. When he uttered his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the radiance out of his treasures. This has to do with the weapon. I'll explain that later on in the next video. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. This is about the sins committed. For his molten image is false. Good. And there is no breath in them. All that is created from this satanic approach is not real living. It's fake living. There is no real breath in them. Yeah, for instance, the company Monsanto creates seeds that seem to be working, but they only work for 1 year because it's fake. It's not real. It's not natural. It's anti-natural. It's a clear violation of one of the 10 commandments, as I explained also in a previous video, but I will do that later on in another episode of Holy Scripture TV as well. They are vain works. Indeed, it is vain. It's pointless. Made in mockery. In the time of their visitation they shall perish, because they violated the 10 commandments. Not such is Jacob's portion. That is the complete opposite. Jacob's portion is to be part of the light of God. So what do you want? The darkness of the devil or the light of God? It's up to you. For he that has formed all things, he is his inheritance. The Lord is his name. You can inherit the light of God, but then you have to follow what is said. You have to follow the 10 commandments. You have to honor them. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee I will break in pieces the nations, and with thee I will eject kings. So it will not only happen in the USA, but everywhere. There will be chaos, and all the so-called kings, they will be ejected. Yeah. And with thee I will break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee I will break in pieces the chariot and the charioteer, and with thee I will also break in pieces man and woman, and with thee I will break in pieces old and young, and with thee I will break in pieces the young man and the maid. With thee I also will break in pieces the shepherd and his flock. With thee I will also break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke, and the man who works on the land, and his yoke of oxen. I think it's oxes. Excuse for all the typo here. And with thee I will break in pieces captains and rulers. So there will be a lot of confusion here, and people will be set up against each other. In the end times, that is true, and that's what I can see everywhere around me. Yeah, men and women are struggling, the young and the old are struggling. It seems there is no more unity, and of course that's true. It's divide and conquer. That's their technology, their technique to create confusion by dividing everybody, and then we lose connection with the one true God. And I, the one true God, I will recompense to Babylon and to all the Chaldeans, yeah, all the Zionists that dwell there, all the Zionists that live in the USA, all their mischiefs that they have done to Zion, to people who have mounted up to God, who have understanding, before your eyes. Everybody will see it. It will not be a secret. They will be brought to justice, and everybody will witness it. That's what the Lord said. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. Now is mountain a reference to the USA, because the USA is destroying everything. But it's like a mountain, because it's very strong, very powerful. Yeah, but that destroying mountain, the USA, is destroying all the earth, and that's true. It throws bombs on everything. I will stretch out mine hand upon thee. So now the Lord will strike back and roll thee down from the rocks and will make thee a burned mountain. This mountain, the USA, will be burned completely. And they shall not take from thee a stone for a corner. That means a cornerstone. That means a house. No house will be built, nor a stone for a foundation. So not even a foundation for a house. But for thou shalt be desolate forever. People will not be living in the land of the USA after this major blast. Nobody will live there anymore. Lift up a standard in the land. Sound the trumpet among the nations. Consecrate the nations against her. Raise up kings against her by me. I command upon her Ararat of mine. It's also a reference to a mountain. And the Ashanazaios, or whatever you have to pronounce. I don't know what this means, but I know what this means. So I think this means more or less the same. People who have understanding. They should now raise against her. And that's what I'm doing with this video. I speak out. Set against her engines of war. Bring upon against her horses as a multitude of locusts. Prepare against her the nations with kings of the Medes. So the king of the Medes will be the commander, so to say. The captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. This will be a huge global war. The earth has quaked and been troubled because the purpose of the Lord has risen up against Babylon. So this will be very dramatic, very big, to make the land of Babylon a desolation and uninhabitable. Nobody will be able to live there anymore. The mighty men of Babylon, the military, the powerful military everywhere, in all their missions, they have failed to fight. They are powerless against what's coming against them. They have remained in their holes. They were not able to react. That's how quick it came. Their might had failed. Their might is powerless against this true might. They became as women. They became weak. They have burnt. I'm not saying that women are weak, but that's an old way of saying, so don't be offended by this. That means that they became weak. They have burned their dwelling places. Yeah, so all their houses, they are burnt. Her laborious toil is broken. Yeah, you cannot work against this. One post shall run to meet another. One messenger shall meet another. So the news will be spread very quickly. to bring tidings to the king of Babylon. The president of the USA will be told that his city, the USA, is taken at one end. So one side of the USA will be taken very quickly. And that the passages are stopped. So there will be no more flights with airplanes, no more trains that will be going on the rails, no more cars on the highways. All the passaging will be stopped. And the reeds they have burned with fire. So I think the roofs, it means the roofs or something, or the houses. But all the houses are gone. And the soldiers are frightened. They don't know what to do. They are very fearful of what came over them. For thus said the Lord, the houses of the king of Babylon shall be threshed on the floor as grain on the harvest season. So the houses will be put down, will be flattened, will be completely destroyed. Yet a little while and her harvest shall come. So it takes a little while. What is a little while? Well, in our days it is indeed a little while. It will be a matter of months. He has devoured me. He has torn me asunder. Every darkness has come upon me. Yeah, this is about the sins. Nebuchadnezzar, that's the ancient king of Babylon, but that's just a reference to the real king now. And I think that will be Barack Obama, whose real name is, by the way, Barry Soetoro. But I'll come back to that in the next video too. He has swallowed me up as a dragon has filled his belly with my delicacies. So this is about not living according to the law of God. My troubles and my distresses have driven me out into Babylon. Shall she that dwells in Zion say, and my blood shall be upon the Chaldeans dwelling there. Shall Jerusalem say. So Jerusalem are the people who have peace inside, and Zion are the people who have mounted up to God. And they all shall say this. Yeah, people who have knowledge, they are already out of the USA, because otherwise they have if they have understanding, they know what to do. And if you have peace in you, then you will see that the blood of all the peaceful men, they are actually on the Zionists, because they are responsible for instance, the First World War and the Second World War, and the third one that will come too. It's all on their hands. Therefore, just said the Lord, behold, I will judge thine adversary. Yeah, who are my adversaries? Well, those are the people I just mentioned, the Jesuits, the Zionists, the Freemasons. And I will execute vengeance for thee. So I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fight. No, the Lord will make sure that they will get what they deserve. And I will waste her sea, her people, and dry up her fountain, her wealth. Yeah, they will be powerless. They will be wealthless. They will have nothing left. Their power will be completely wiped out. And Babylon shall be a desolation. Nobody shall live there, and shall not be inhabited. For they rose up together as lions, as lion whelps. So the real lions and the ones that are learning to become lions, they all stand up against these evil people. In their heat, I will give them a draught and make them drunk, that they may be stupefied and sleep an everlasting sleep and not awake, said the Lord. This is about that weapon. I'll explain that in the next video. And bring thou them down as lambs to the slaughter, and the rams with kids. How has the boast of all the earth has been taken down? Yeah, this is the boast of all the earth. The arrogance has been taken down and caught in a snare. How is this possible? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Yeah, if you look now at the USA, you will not be able to comprehend what I'm saying now, because our mind thinks it's not possible. How can that very powerful country become a desolation? Well, it will be. It will become like that. And it will not take much time anymore. The sea has come up upon Babylon with the sound of its waves, and she is covered. Yeah, the USA will be covered with water. Or the sound of waves. I'll explain the technology later, the next video. Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land wherein no man dwelleth, neither doth any son of man lodge in it. There will be no living man in the land of the USA after this. And I will take vengeance on Babylon, and bring forth out of her mouth what she has swallowed down, and the nation shall no more be gathered to her. Yeah, now there are nations gathered to her. Many peoples are living there from many ethnicities. My people, go ye out of her midst of her. Go out of the USA, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. Make sure that your soul is not sold to the devil, otherwise you will have the consequences. Unless your heart be faint, unless your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year. So there will be 2 rumors in 1 year. And after that, in another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. So you will have warnings. Yeah, at least 2 in 1 year. Maybe this is your first warning, but there will become another one. And if you then still do nothing, well, then it's your problem. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, all the sins of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, the adversaries of Babylon shall sing, for the spoilers shall come unto her from the north, said the Lord. And in Babylon the slain men of all the earth shall fall. Go forth of the land, ye that escape, and stay not. So get out, ye that are afar off. Remember the Lord, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. Let peace come into your mind. We are confounded, because we have heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces, for strangers are come into the sanctuaries, into the house of the Lord. Yeah, this is about all the sins. Wherefore, behold, the days come, said the Lord, when I will do judgment upon her graven images, and slain men fall in all her land. Yeah, it's more or less the same as the previous slide, but it tells you that it's going on. So Babylon should mount up to heaven. Yeah, that will happen. And though she should fortify the height of her strength. Yeah, mount up to heaven means that all the military airplanes will go up and try to defend her. Yeah, and all that she has, all her strength, she will use it. The USA will use everything she has. Yet from me shall destroyers come unto her. So it will not have any effect. The USA will be destroyed, said the Lord. A sound of a cry in Babylon. That has to do with the technology. And great destruction in the land of the Chaldeans. Yeah, the land of the Chaldeans is Israel. So there will be great destruction in Israel. But the sound of cry will be in Babylon. This is the technology I'm talking about here. That will be used against the USA. But before that, Israel will be destroyed. Great destruction. For the Lord has utterly destroyed Babylon, and the great voice sounding as many waters cut her off. He has consigned her voice to destruction. For distress has come upon Babylon. Her warriors are taken. Her bows are useless. So the technology the USA has no meaning. It's powerless against this. For God recompenses them. The Lord recompenses and will make her leaders and her wise men and her captains completely drunk. Yeah, their minds will be so weak that they will not have any idea what's going on, said the King. The Lord Almighty is his name. Thus said the Lord, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, no defense anymore. and her high gates shall be burnt with fire. Yeah, it's all gone. The defense is completely gone. And the people shall labor in vain. No matter what they do, it will be pointless. Yeah, in vain. It will not have any effect. And the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary. Yeah, people will be burnt with this huge weapon. The word which the Lord commanded the prophet Jeremiah to say to Sariah, son of Neriah, son of Messiah, when he went from Zedekiah, king of Judah, to Babylon in the 4th year of his reign. So this when this was all written down. But it's not about the historical Babylon, it's about the Babylon of now. Yeah, this was a gift for the archon, that means a ruler. And Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evils which should come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. But it's not that Babylon. So the ruler at that time did not like this book too much, of course. But it's not about his country then, it's about the current country, USA. And Jeremiah said to Sariah, when thou art come to Babylon, and thou shalt see and read all these words, then thou shalt say, O Lord, Lord, thou hast spoken against this place, to destroy it, and that there should be none to dwell in it, neither man nor beast, for it shall be a desolation forever. Again, it looks like it was about Babylon in the ancient days, but it's not. It's about Babylon in these days. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt cease from reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone upon it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. Yeah, that might have happened with the one who saw that story, read it, and did not like it. But the story is still here. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink, not rise, because of the evil which I bring upon it, and they shall be weary. Thus are the words of Jeremiah. Yeah, this is Jeremiah chapter 51, but in some versions it's chapter 28, so there's confusion too. Which are stories that are originally from this Jeremiah guy and which are not. Anyway, I think it's crystal clear what will happen to Babylon. And it's also crystal clear that Babylon is an ancient word that refers to current day USA. Now let us look at Revelations of John. And I will discuss 3 chapters. I start with this one, chapter 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, which I saw out of the sea a beast coming up, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 diadems, that means bracket crowns, and upon his heads a name of evil speaking. And the beast that I saw was like a leopard, and its feet as of a bear, and its mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon did give it his power. The dragon is the devil. So it's a beast that has the power of the devil, and also the throne of the devil, and a great authority. So the devil gave it power, a throne, and authority. I'll later on explain this beast. And I saw one of his heads as slain to the death. That means the beast was dead for a while. But its fatal wound was healed. It came back. And all the earth was filled with wonder and followed after this beast. That's now. People wonder and follow this beast. They honor it. And they worship the dragon. They worship the devil, who did give authority to the beast. What people don't know is the devil. They think it is God. And they worship the beast. Yeah, they think they worship God, but they worship in reality the devil, because they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast? Who is able to war with it? This beast is very powerful. It has a lot of wealth and it has a lot of influence, and actually it runs the whole show. And there was given to it a mouth speaking great things and evil speakings. So you have to be very careful to listen to what this mouth of this beast is actually saying. And there was given to it authority to act for 42 months. I'll come back to this too as well. And it did open its mouth for evil speaking towards God, to speak evil of his name and of his dwelling, and of those who dwell in heaven. And there was given to it to make war with the holy ones, yeah, the people who are holy men. and to overcome them. And there was given to it authority and over every tribe and people and tongue and nation. This beast is so powerful that it rules over everything on this planet, but people don't see it. And they worship him, all who dwelling on the earth, everyone whose name has not been written in the book of the life of the Lamb. This means anyone who is holy, who has become whole, that's a living man. And all other men who are not holy, who are not one in themselves, who are not have become a trinity, they are dead. And their names are not in the book of life. And the lamb is just a reference to what we can become. Yeah. When we become one, we are like a lamb, and we can become more mature. We can develop. It's like this is about the rebirth. Yeah, the lamb is another word for rebirth. The moment you become one, you have had your own rebirth. But what people think it is about rebirthing is completely nonsense. This is about a true spiritual rebirthing. Yeah, as I also addressed a little bit in the previous episode. But if you watch my video course, the 30-part video course, I'll explain all this in more detail. And this is going on since the foundation of the world. So men have always been able to reach this highest level of consciousness. But you need to be in the book of life, because if you're not there, yeah, if you're dead, according to this understanding, then you're in trouble. If anyone has an ear, hear. So make sure your understanding reaches the highest level. And I therefore strongly advise you to study holy science, because that clearly tells you what to do and how to reach that highest level. New Age is not telling you that. Any religion is not telling you that. Nobody is telling you that. And if you join the Freemasonry or whatever, the Jesuits, they tell you, they pretend that they tell you the truth, but they tell you the very opposite of it. But you will not see it because you are being fooled. If anyone is to be taken captive, into captivity he is going. So this was going on for long, because we talk about the 3rd century of our current era. And yeah, we are now about 1800 years further in time. And for 1800 years, people have been taken into captivity. And then they could do nothing. And if they were killed by the sword, which happened also big time, the Inquisition, for instance, but even nowadays, and the Crusades, so-called Christians went to the land of Canaan, and they killed as many Muslims as they could. And nowadays it's still going on. Yeah, the USA is trying to kill as many Muslims as they can in all those countries. Why? Well, this is why. Because it's Babylon. Here is the endurance and faith of the Holy One. So you need to have endurance and faith, and then you will continue. Because this life, this physical life, is nothing more than the start of a much bigger process. Yeah, or it's in between. But life does not begin when you are born, and life does not end when you die. So have endurance and have faith. And I saw another beast coming up from the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spoke as the dragon. It spoke like the devil. And all the authority of the first beast it exercises before him. And he causes the earth and those dwelling on it to worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. I will now tell you what the first beast is, because the first beast is Christianity. And Christianity was known in the ancient days as the Saturnian priesthood. But nowadays it is in disguise. It's not openly worshipping Saturn, it's doing it secretly. You think it's worshipping the sun, Jesus, but that's not. That's all trickery. In reality, it's still the Saturnian priesthood, but now disguised as Christianity or Roman Catholicism. And the second beast that came out of Christianity, those are the Jesuits. And the Jesuits, they have the authority of the first beast. That's very true. And they exercise it before Christianity. And they force everyone to worship Christianity or Roman Catholicism. That's what they do all over the world for many, many, many years. Yeah, that's the truth here. And he performs great signs, such that he even causes fire to come down from heaven to earth before the people. I think this is about 9/11. This is what they can do, these Jesuits, these wizards. They have the technology now to make 210 stories high buildings completely go into dust. That's powerful, isn't it? And he deceives those dwelling on the earth. That's what they do, the Jesuits, by means of the signs which were given to do before the beast, telling those dwelling on the earth to make an image to the beast which has the wound of the sword and yet has lived. So that's what we see. All the images in the cathedrals, in the churches, yeah, all those images are actually images of the devil. If you see a man with a long beard and you think it's God, I have news for you. That's not God. That's the devil. That's Satan. That's Satan. And it was given to him to give breath to the image of the beast, so to make this anti-natural world live, but it's not real life, it's artificial life. Such as that the image of the beast can even talk. And that's going on now. And also to cause anyone who does not worship the image of the beast to be put to death. And that's what they've been doing for long. Many people have been killed because they refuse to worship the devil. And of course, if you know the truth, you're not afraid of the death, because it's better to be dead, be killed because you worship God, than to stay alive and worship the devil. But that's of course when you understand that there's a long-term perspective too. In the short term, you might think it's not good to die, and then you confess that you worship the devil. But in the long term, that's the most stupid thing to do. And he causes all, the small and the great, the rich and the poor, the free and the slave, to provide themselves a mark on their right upper limb or on their forehead. The right upper limb is just a reference to doing, acting, because the right hand is the young hand, and that's action. So your actions, and the forehead is of course your thinking. So by what you do or what you think, you show that you worship the devil. That's what it says here. Don't take it literal, it's a way of expressing it. And makes it so that no one is able to buy or to sell without having the mark, the name of the beast or the number of his name. If we now use, for instance, the USA money, the dollar, the USA dollar, we see that there is God on. Yeah? In God we trust. That's the mark of the devil, because that God is not the real God. That's the anti-God. That's the devil. Here is wisdom. He who has the understanding should calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a human being, and this number is 666. 666. Trinities of 6. And Trinity means a completion. So a complete worshipping of the 6. And what is the 6? Well, the 6 is Satan. 6 is the symbol for Satan. So this is the Satan worshipping number. People who completely, fully, utterly worship Satan, they are mentioned here. That's what they mean here. And these people, these Satan worshipping people, they run the show on this planet. They are the powers who should not be. And they have polluted the whole earth. Let's now move to chapter 17. And there came one of the 7 messengers. Now, literally, people think it says angels. No, it's not. Look at the ancient word. It says messengers. Messengers. So you got a message. Who have the 7 vials. Yeah, that's a small bottle with liquid that can heal you. And he spoke with me, saying to me, come, I will show you the judgment of the great whore. And the whore is, of course, Babylon, who sits upon many waters, as I explained before. Yeah, the USA, with whom the kings of the earth did commit whoredom. Yeah, all the kings of the earth, they have somehow connected with the USA. because that was good for their business, for their wealth, for their power. And those dwelling on the earth have become intoxicated from the wine of her whoredom. Yeah, the financial system created from this whoredom, yeah, from the people, the Zionists in the USA, they created this system, and not only there, but other places too. But it's that intoxication that's referred to. And because we do no longer value true value, which is all that is natural, but now we value money, which is the very opposite of value actually, we have been intoxicated. We think money is important. Well, it's not. Yeah, I asked you to give money to this video, but that's just because I want to use that money in a good way. But actually, I don't care too much about money. Yeah, because money is actually the means to intoxicate the whole planet. And they know this. And that's why they did it. And he carried me away, the messenger. He carried me away in the mind to a wilderness. And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast. So the woman is again the whore. And she's sitting on the beast. And the beast with the 7 heads, that is of course Christianity. It had 7 heads and 10 horns, which was full of names of evil speaking. That's true. And the woman was dressed in purple and scarlet too. So the woman is filled with Christianity. Well, that's true. The USA thinks this is the most Christian country on the planet. Well, they have no idea. I'm really sorry if you are a Christian living in the USA and you watch this video, because I have really sad news for you. You have been worshiping the devil all along. It has nothing to do with the one true God. It's trickery. It's falsery. You have been fooled big time. Yeah, and that woman, the USA, is covered with purple and scarlet and gold and precious stones and pearls. So she is very rich indeed. This whore of Babylon, the USA, is very rich, holding a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and uncleanness of her whoredom. Yes. And upon her forehead was written a title, a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of whores, of the abominations of the earth. So this is really bad. This is the worst you can get, the USA. And I saw the woman drunken of the blood of the holy ones. So the holy ones were killed by her, the holy men, and from the blood of those who have testified of Jesus. Yeah, testified of Jesus means that you testify that Jesus is the true light of the world. That means Jesus, of course, is a personification of the sun, Helios, but that you testify of the light. You testify of light consciousness. And those who have testified of light, they were killed because they refused to honor, to worship the darkness. That's what it's all about. And I was astonished. So if you still believe in the historical Jesus, you are fooled big time. Jesus is you. Jesus is me when we have become enlightened. And then I continue, and I was astonished when I saw her with great astonishment. Yeah, this whore is astonishment. You get astonishment when you see it. And the messenger said to me, why are you astonished? I will declare to you the mystery of the woman and of the beast carrying her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast, so he does that, he's explaining it now. The beast which you saw, it was, and now it is not. I added now to make it more clear. So in the past it was, now it's not there, but in the future it is to rise again from the abyss. And then it is going to destruction. In the days that this was written, there was no Christianity. Yeah, you were lied big times when you told the story that Christians were thrown for the lions. Those were not Christians, those were Gnostics, people who knew. And these people wrote down these stories. That's what they did. These stories in the New Testament have nothing to do with Christianity. Nothing at all. These are stories of people who know. People who are in the knowing, the Gnostics. That's the truth. And then later, in the year 325, Christianity arose again from the abyss. Yeah, the Saturnian priesthood had a new way of fooling people. And they adopted these stories but these are actually Gnostic writings, and they somehow use these Gnostic writings to fool people. That's what they did. If you can't beat them, join them. So they joined the Gnostics and then turned it into Christianity. And then it became a beast. And that beast is responsible for so many deaths and so many trouble on this planet you cannot imagine. It's horrible. Christianity is a true horror. Yeah, and it's going to destruction. Indeed, Christianity will bring destruction to this planet because it will be the reason why there will be a huge war against the Islam. And people are never the problem. So I don't have any problem with anyone who is a Christian or Muslim or whatever, a Jew. Yeah, they are people. But the moment they connect with a religion, then they become very dangerous to other people. So I strongly advise you cut yourself free from any religion. Religion is the poison into the minds of people. Study the truth. Study the truth, and let the truth alone be your authority. And those dwelling upon the earth will be amazed when they see the beast. Yeah, that's still going on. Yeah, when the Pope is standing on the balcony, people are amazed. Anyone whose name has not been written in the book of life since the foundation of the world. Only those people who are actually dead, they are amazed. But people who are alive, whose name is in the book of life, those people, holy men, they are not amazed. They are filled with disgusting thoughts because it's horrible. Yeah, for this beast was, is not, and will be. In those days it was not, but nowadays we are already here, so it is again. Consider this, O mind having wisdom. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains upon which the woman sits. These are the 7 mountains of the city of Rome, and there indeed we find the headquarters of Christianity. And there are 7 kings. 5 have fallen and 1 is, the other one has not yet appeared. I'll explain that in the next slide. And when he appears, so the 7th and last king, he must continue a little while. And the beast which was and is not is also the 8th king. So Christianity is a king too, but the number 8. Yeah. And out of the 7 he is. So from these first 7 kings, Christianity came forth. And to destruction he is going. It's said again. Christianity brings on destruction. And then the 10 horns which you saw, they are 10 kings who have not yet received kingship. So I cannot tell you who these 10 kings are because they are not there yet. They will come in the end times. They only receive authority as kings for 1 hour with the beast. So in the end times they will come up and they will have a role. And these have one purpose, and they give their power and authority to the beast. So they play a major role in the end times, these 10 kings. Now let us look at these 7 kings first. Because these 7 kings, they are 7 religions. And 5 were already fallen, 5 were gone. And one of them, I'm 100% certain that it was one of those 5 religions, is Zoroastrianism, as formerly known as Mazda-Yatsna. That's one of the 5 religions that was fallen in those days. And probably these other 4 were the other ones. Yeah, but maybe not, doesn't really matter. 5 religions were gone in this region. Talk about the region of Canaan. Yeah, so probably also the Canaanite religion. But the one that was not fallen was still there. Yeah, one is, that was Judaism. And the other has not yet appeared, that is Islam. Because that came in the 7th century, many years after this. So 7 religions, and out of those 7 religions, one came forth. Yeah, one is not. The beast is also the 8th. And it came out of the 7. And that's Christianity. So it is very clear. This is warning you about Christianity. And people think it's a book of the book of Christianity, yeah, the Bible. Well, then I have big news for you. The people who wrote this knew that Christianity was very dangerous. But in those days it was not known then. It was only known as the ancient Saturnian religion. These, so the kings, they mean these kings will make war with the Lamb, the 10 kings, the new ones. And the 10 kings, they will war with the Lamb. So the Lamb are all those people who want to know the truth of God, and those people will overcome them. So if you want to join me and also start to practice holy science, then you will be part of the Lamb group, so to say. And we will prevail, we will win, we will overcome them, because we are at the side of the Lord, and He is the Lord of the Lords and the King of the Kings. And those who are with Him are called and elect and faithful. Yeah, we are the called, we are called for. I feel that there is a calling making this video. Yeah, it absorbs all my time and my energy. I'm almost obsessed by it. But I feel that I am called, and that's why I do this. And I think I'm the part of the elect because I chose for God and not for the devil. And my faith is very strong, I can assure you. And He says to me, the waters which you saw, which the whore sits upon, where the whore sits, they are multitudes of people. Yeah, so the waters are the people, and ethnicities and tongues. And that's true, there are many tongues in the USA. Yeah, of course there's English, but also Mexican, or I mean Spanish, and other languages too. Yeah, Mandarin and many, many other languages. And they're all there. All kinds of ethnicities are there. That's why the USA soldiers have to wear uniforms, because they are fighting against people who are also in the army of the USA. They fight against their own people, but they don't realize it, all those young boys. And the 10 horns that you saw and the beast, they will hate the whore. So they will hate the people in the USA, or the soldiers of the USA. And they will make her desolate and bare, and eat her flesh and burn her up with fire. That is going to happen. For God has given it into their hearts to carry out that purpose of His. So God makes all these people very determined. They want to eat the flesh of the USA, even to perform one single purpose. So they're all united into this one purpose. And that is to give their kingdoms to the beast until the words of God are accomplished. So the beast will become very powerful. Christianity will become very powerful. And all those kings will give their kingdoms to Christianity. But the purpose is to completely destroy the USA. And the woman that you saw is that great city. Yeah, the whore is Babylon, that has rule over the kings of the earth. That is now the case. The whore of Babylon, the USA, rules over all the other countries. Yeah, all the parliaments and the governments in Europe, for instance, they bow to the president of the USA. That's the current situation. So what does the dragon mean? The dragon is the devil, and that's actually the energy of Saturn. The first beast is the Saturnian priesthood, and that was gone for a while, and when it came back, it was known as Christianity or Roman Catholicism. And then the second beast came out of the first beast. The Jesuits came forth of this, and the Freemasons too. Yeah, so Babylon is the same as the great city, but it's also named the lady or the whore. It's all here. The whore of Babylon, the lady that wants to sit on a throne, that's the arrogant USA. Yeah, with all the wizardry and trickery and black magic, the mind control and the brainwashing. And the Chaldeans, they are the people who are actually behind all this. They are the Zionists, the Judaistic extremists. Yeah, very sick, psychotic people, extremely sick. But they think they are doing the good thing. Well, I have news for you. It's not really good what you do, because you kill many people. Look at the Gaza stream, for instance, Gaza stroke, what do you call it? Gaza, well, Gaza or the West Bank. Yeah, look what's happened to the original people who used to live there and who have all the right to live there. Look what's going on. Yeah, the so-called Jewish people have no right at all to be there, but they think they have, and they think they can do this all. Well, they cannot, and they will be punished for this big time. Now we jump to the last chapter that I will discuss in this video, Revelations 18. After these things, I saw another messenger coming down out of heaven, having great authority, and the earth was lit up from his glory. He cried out in powerful voice, saying, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, and has become a dwelling place of demons. Yeah, those demons are already there, because demons, they don't have a physical body. They are there. But then it continues, not only the demons, but also the haunts. That means the residue, that what stays when a physical body died. Yeah, some people call it the spirit, but that's wrong. It's the haunt. The haunt of every unclean spirit. Yeah, and the haunt of every unclean bird. Bird is a reference to the mind. And the haunt of every unclean and detestable beast. And a detestable beast is somebody who only lives from his personality. That's the Esau in the previous video. Yeah, and the story of Esau and Jacob. That's your outside. That's a beast because it behaves like a beast. Because every nation has drunk of the wine of the wrath of her whoredom. Yeah, so you will be punished for what you did. And that's not only the USA, but all nations. And the kings of the earth have fornicated with her. That's true. And the merchants of the earth, by virtue of her luxury, have become rich. All the countries and all the companies that did business with the USA became extremely rich in the last 60 years. So that's what is meant here. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Get out, O my people, out of her, so that you not be parties to her sins, and not receive of her plagues. Yeah, we saw this before. It's said again here in chapter 18. Get out of the USA before it is too late. For her sins are piled up all the way to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Yeah, of course God remembered it. And her sins indeed are so huge you cannot imagine. Just make a list of all the wars which were created by the USA for the last 200 years. It's a very long list of sins. Deal back to her even as she dealt out. So give to her what she did to you, and pay her double as benefits her deeds. Yeah, because she deserves to get it back double. In the cup in which she had mixed, mix her a double. Yeah, give her twice back what she gave out. As much as she glorified herself, yeah, the boastful, the arrogance, and lived in luxury, deal to her that much suffering and mourning. So all that is great now, that great will be her reward. But then of course a reward in a negative sense will be her punishment. For she says in her heart, the USA says in her heart, I sit as a queen. I am the queen of this world. I'm the king. I am the boss. I'm the ruler. And I am not a widow. And mourning I will never see. So there will never be any problems, any deep problems for me. That's what she's saying, the USA. Well, then you by now should know that that is not true. This arrogance will come down very hard. Because of this, her blows will come in a single day. Death and mourning and famine. And she be consumed by fire. Yeah, that's the weapon. For it is the Lord God who sentenced her. Nothing there is to be done about it. This will happen. When they see the smoke of her burning, the kings of the earth who have had fornicated and experienced luxury with her shall weep and wail over her. Yeah, indeed. Standing a long distance away for the horror of her torment, saying, how terrible, great city, Babylon, strong city. For in the single hour your doom has come. It was so quick you cannot even imagine it. And the merchants of the earth weep and mourn over her, because no one buys their cargo anymore, their goods. Cargo of gold, silver, precious stones and pearls, linen, silk, purple and scarlet cloth, every aromatic wood, every item of ivory, every article of offensive wood, copper, iron, marble, cinnamon, cardamom, this is a kind of ginger, incenses, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, finest flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, carriages, And next to all those good, also the bodies and, more importantly, the souls of human beings. Yeah, this is all gone. Yeah, and yeah, this is part of what they sold too. So they also sold souls. They sold their own souls to the devil. And nobody will do that anymore after this. And your fruit, that is what you want very much, yeah, what your soul has lusted for, those fruits, metaphorical fruits, has left you. So all those things are no longer valuable to you. You don't value it anymore. You don't lust for it anymore. Yeah, the materialistic lust that we now have for luxury, for having a beautiful house and car and all those things, all those lusts will go away from us. Yes, all the luxuries and the splendor you have vanished, they have vanished from you. Yeah, we don't know what we saw in that because it's all pointless. When you have become one with God, it has no meaning. All the material world is just an illusion. It's not real. So why did we fall for this? We were mind controlled. We were fooled. And never shall men find them again. Never will we be fooled again. Those merchants who became rich from her will stand afar off for the horror of her torment, weeping and mourning, saying, Woe, woe, great city dressed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and gilded in cloth and precious stone and pearl, that this kind of wealth has been ruined in 1 hour. And every shipmaster and anyone sailing toward the place where it was done, the justice, and sailors and such as work on the sea, they all stood afar off, and cried out, watching the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like the great city? And they threw dust upon their heads and cried out, weeping and mourning, saying, Woe, woe, the great city, through whom all those owning ships on the sea became rich from her priciness, because the prices are actually much too high, way too high, too expensive. That's why they make so much money. How has she been laid waste in 1 hour? How was that possible? But then the other side started to rejoice over her, O heaven, and you holy ones, and apostles and prophets. Yeah, all those good people. For God has educated your redress from her. And the powerful messenger lifted up a stone, like a giant millstone, and threw it into the sea, saying, With such violence will the great city Babylon be thrown down, and never more be found. Next video I'll explain this, but that's about the technology. It will happen like that, like a big stone that's thrown into water. That huge violence will come. And destroy will wipe out USA in no time. And the sound of guitarists and musicians and flutists and trumpeters will never be heard in you. So no more music in the USA. Nor will any craftsman of any skill be found in you anymore. There will be nobody working anymore. Nor the sound of a factory will be heard in you anymore. So no more activities. And light of a lamp will not shine in you anymore. So it will be completely dark. No electricity. And the sound of the bridegroom and bride will not be heard in you anymore. No more human activities either. Nothing. For thy merchants were the lords of the earth, and that by your sorceries all nations were deceived. Yeah, the trickery with the money. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the holy ones. They were all murdered because of these sorcerers, all these black magicians, because they were sick of power. They wanted so much power that they killed all the people who could expose them. Indeed, of all the slain upon the earth, these are the most evil forces on the planet. And they control the USA, and that's why the USA will be wiped away. That is what's going to happen. The USA will be thrown down violently within a time span of just 1 hour. Next video I'll come back to this, because in that video I will explain when this will all happen and also how. So surely you don't want to miss this third episode of the Holy Scripture television. If you want to stay updated on what I'm doing here, you want to see the next video as soon as possible, then make sure you subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel. Yeah, click on subscribe under this video, and then you will be get a notification the moment the video is uploaded. You can also connect with me via LinkedIn or via Twitter. Yeah, I'll also make a tweet when the video is out, and you get it also immediately. Or you can join, you can like this Facebook page, and then you can also receive updates. And of course, you can check out my websites, pateo.nl or holyscience.org. And remember what I said in the beginning, if you have enjoyed this video, if it's not worth it to you, then be honest to yourself and tell yourself what this video is worth. And then you know what to do with that worth. For now, I thank you very much for watching this video. Namaste.